So this week we are going to make homemade stress balls, and to give you a little background, I have a minor in psychology, and something that I learned in psychology was that when we are stressed, this dates back to our prehistoric responses to fear, and our fight or flight response kicks in, and when we don't release that, we have a chemical called cortisol that builds up in our bodies, and it is terrible for you. It can actually cause physical reactions. It can eat at your brain, and most of us know that stress is bad for us, but I don't think that we realize that we don't have a lot of outlets in daily life. You can get outlets through exercise and things like that, but this is just a little fun way that we can create a craft that's also good for our mental health. What we're gonna need for this project are balloons. I have some rice and I have some flour. I went and made a homemade funnel because I unfortunately don't have one of my own, and I just rolled up a piece of computer paper and taped it, and then scissors. So there are many different things that you can put inside of a stress ball when you're making it from home. These are just things that I had on hand, and I think things that most households will have. I'm going to show you how to make two different ones. So we're going to start off by just stretching out our balloons. So for our first stress ball today, I'm going to use a cup of rice, and I realized pretty quickly that my funnel wasn't going to give enough room for the rice to slide through, so I cut a little bit off the end to make sure that it has a nice big hole. Also, because I have a paper funnel, I'm not going to be able to really secure the balloon over it because it caves it in, so I'm just going to make sure I hold it nicely, making sure that there is it doesn't look like that, but it's a nice full circle at the bottom. I'm going to slowly pour my rice in. There are also tricks that you could use with a water bottle, and if you blow up the balloon and twist the top, you can hold the air in it and then secure the top over the water bottle, and then when you release it, you will be able to dump the rice in. I don't use plastic, but it may be a little easier, especially if you're doing this with little ones. So I'm kind of getting towards the end, and because the balloon isn't stretched out with air, it's filled all the way up to the neck with rice. So I'm going to very carefully pinch that and blow that rice in there. So now we have a pretty good size. I'm going to tie that off. Oops. Making sure that there's not really any air and that this knot is as far down as it will go. I'm going to trim this. And then we're we're gonna go ahead and take another balloon, and this would be so much more fun if you had fun colored balloons. Unfortunately, all I have is white. We're gonna trim off the top. Fold it in half. Fold it in half again, just so you can re-see that. So we have a little triangle, and then trim the corners. So this balloon has some openings. And we're gonna take this and start, there's an area that has a lot more. So we're gonna put that over our knot. And honestly, I can trim this down quite a bit more. So then, when you squeeze your stress ball, it pops through and you have more sensory areas. So that's our first one. Okay, so for our second one, I grabbed about half a cup of flour. I might need more. That was just the last of my package. And I have my balloon. I also thought that it might be fun if you wanted to add a little bit of sugar to this mixture to give some kind of consistency to it, other than just like soft and squishy. So we're gonna do the same concept here. Just lightly place the balloon over the funnel, hold that in place, make sure you have a nice circular hole at the bottom, and pour in the flour. We're just really gonna work that in there. So I have really been struggling getting the flour in here, but what has helped me a lot to make sure that it's pushing down and pushing in through there, so I just grabbed a plastic drinking straw and just working that through. Making sure that that hole stays nice, big and open inside, and also kind of helping filter that flour down. Okay, so I finally got my flour in here, and I'm gonna pinch this at the very end and make sure that all the air squeezes out. Go ahead and tie our knot. And same concept, roll that all the way down as tight as you can. Add some flour in the neck of the stress ball. I'm going to trim this, and then I'm going to take another balloon and do the same concept. Go ahead and trim it. Instead of cutting all the holes, just using it to give it that extra layer of protection, so that way we don't have any accidental flower messes. And then you have a nice squishy stress ball.